Welcome to the CEO Launch Podcast.
We are a dynamic mother-daughter duo bringing you personality, insights, and practical advice from two different generations of entrepreneurship.
We aren't just mother and daughter. We are also best friends and business partners.
I've watched my mom help thousands of entrepreneurs start the businesses of their dreams, including me. And now it's your turn.
Hey CEO family, welcome back to episode number 22. Today we wanted to talk about some of the influences that small businesses had on Kenya's life. When we started the podcast, we were thinking about the stories that we were going to share. I'm surprised it took us 22 episodes to get to this story, Kenya. But we wanted to talk about what it was like for Kenya. Well, she's kind of told you what it's been like for her being the child of an entrepreneur, but I wanted to talk about like how being a child of an entrepreneur has influenced her life. So yeah, Ken, you ready to share your story?
Yeah. So this story kind of talks about how just having a mother as an entrepreneur influenced a lot of my actions, particularly in my adulthood as I kind of understood different things more and more. I've talked about this before. There was definitely a period in my life I don't remember, and that's a symptom of traumatic experiences when you just kind of prune things out. But I believe it was about maybe my junior year or so. Yeah, I decided to get therapy off campus because as much as I love my university, the on-campus mental health center or something, whatever it was called, it was like a long waiting list. And I was like, listen, this cannot wait because I don't even know what this is, but I don't like the way that it feels. So I got a therapist off campus and I tried to do it as much as I knew how insurance worked. So we had United, I think, healthcare, and with United, you know, they give you a list of all the therapists in the region that you can go see. And so I found this woman. I was very particular about what I wanted. And I found her. She was metro accessible. I would go to her every week. And we did good work together. And we finally kind of got to the point where I can't remember if she was a coach or maybe a counselor or something. Like whatever she was not a psychologist per se. And so when we were working together, we had gotten to a point where it was clear that I was experiencing some like major depression and anxiety and things that needed more of a diagnosis from licensed like psychologists and mental health professional, and that wasn't something that she was going to be able to do. And so when we concluded our sessions, my understanding, again, I'm like 20, 21-ish, something like that. I don't even think I was 21. I think I was 20. So I'm like 20 and barely understand adulthood and how things work. So I'm just thinking that it's cleared on the insurance because when I use my insurance on campus, like I never have to pay for anything. So why would I have to pay for anything here? I'm using the same insurance and I went through the website and all of that stuff. No, not how that worked. It wasn't even just that I had like a copay. Like it wasn't like I had like a $20 copay for every visit. My insurance didn't cover it whatsoever. They were just like, no girl, this doesn't count. So I don't know what you want me to do about it, but I'm not doing anything. So you got to figure it out. So in addition to just being overwhelmed with life, I'm now overwhelmed because I've gotten to know this person, you know, and so she shared different things with me. She's a new business owner. She was recently divorced, so she was a single parent. She had like 2-3 kids and, you know, supporting them and just super new to this experience and new to being in business. And so I felt so guilty because the bill was like $500 or something like that. And I was just like, I don't have that and I can't pay you because I'm in college. Like I'm in college and I'm working, but I might get $500 in 2 months. You know, like it just wasn't that type of salary. And if I got a refund check, it was going straight to my like $10,000 rent that I had to pay to live in DC. So it was just like, I don't have that, girl. Like, what? Like, and so I told my mom about it, told you about it. And I was just like, I really want to be able to pay her because she has kids and she's going to be waiting on this invoice. And like, it's $500. Like, that's like groceries. And she's not going to be able to feed her kids or like just do all of this stuff. And I was like, Mommy, I just don't know what to do. And you were just like, I got it. It'll be fine. Please calm down. But I was so concerned for her and her children because I remember what it's like to have your mom waiting on invoices from people and kind of just waiting to get that final paycheck so that you could do something like go to a game or get like clothes for the winter or what have you, like whatever, whether it was a necessity or something fun, like it affected your life. And so I was just like, I don't want to have to pay this girl like $10 every month because that's all I really had.
It's so interesting to hear you retell that story. And I was thinking about sometimes we don't even realize the impact that we have on people, and we don't realize the things that our kids hear and notice and the way that they conceptualize it. So I do remember saying stuff like, oh, okay, well, we'll do that as soon as so-and-so pays their invoice. And it's so funny that translated like this for you. So just for you all in listening land, I did pay the bill for the therapist. She did not get left hanging. So yeah, I did pay the bill that the insurance company didn't pay. But yeah, I thought that was a really interesting story around how entrepreneurship or small business has really influenced your life and the way that you saw things. You know, like some people don't think about it like that. Like, I remember telling a client one time, like, oh, I'll take care of that as soon as I got a payment coming in on such and such a day. And the client was irate and was like, why I got to wait for your client to pay you? And I'm like, because that's how I get paid. Like, right?
Hey, like what? It's the same concept of, oh, I get paid on Friday, so that's when I'm going to take care of it. It's just like the Fridays are sometimes Mondays or Thursdays or, Sundays, It's the exact same concept. I can't do it because I don't have the money right now. What's not clicking? What's not clicking?
Right. Yeah, like I didn't understand why that was so hard to understand. Yeah, so that was pretty interesting that we kind of went there. So I know that for me as a small business owner, I'm always extending as much grace as I can to another small business owner because I know what it's like to be a small business owner. Like, I'm paying the small business owner before I pay the electric company. Like, I'm paying them all, you know what I mean? But like, as soon as the small business owner's invoice hits my inbox, as long as they've delivered the service, let me just say that, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's be clear.
So, but as soon as I get an invoice from a small business owner, listen, I'm going online and I'm going to pay that invoice right away because I know what it's like to wait on payments and for people to pay you late or, God forbid, people not pay you at all.
To listen. Y'all heard my mini story about that. But yeah, because it does make a difference. And I think one of the major influences that, outside of grace, one of the major influences that having you be an entrepreneur, like as I was growing up, was just understanding that people are people. A lot of times when you shop at Target, you're not thinking about founder Target. I don't even know who founded Target. And I shop at Target a lot. And so you don't even think about the founder of Target or whoever the CEO of Target is or even the store manager. Like, you're not thinking about those people when you interact with the brand, But when you interact with a small business, you're working with the business and the person. Like, you're working with them and their family. Like, you are supporting a number of different things, and it's not like conglomerate. Even when I was a landlord, a lot of times I had to explain to like my tenants sometimes that I am not Bozzuto and Ryan Holmes and all of these big real estate people that have thousands and thousands and probably millions of dollars in reserve that can wait on you to pay on the 15th. Like, that's not how that works. It's like when you pay on the 15th, that now means that the $500 water bill that we got is on my shoulders. Like, I have to wait on that. So it's like you have to treat people like people. Even if it is business, you have to treat people like people. And a lot of people forget that and they detach from it under the guise of professionalism and all of those things. And that's not really what it is. It's a big piece of grace, and people live lives.
Yeah. And when you're supporting a small business, you, like Kenya said, you are paying for daycare or tuition or groceries, and you're not buying new jets. That's kind of how I see it too. Even in my business, when I get a new client, it's probably taking care of payroll, so my employees can get paid and pay their bills, So, and then we got Small Business Saturday coming up. So if you are not intentional about supporting small business, make it a part of your life. Like, I know Small Business Saturday is coming. It's an opportunity to support small businesses, but I honestly make an effort to support small businesses at every chance that I get. Like, anytime, if I can buy something from a small business owner, I'd rather buy it from a small business owner than to go to one of the major outlets. So, you ready for the takeaways?
Yeah.
Yes? Or you got something more to say?
I have one more thing, but I'm at it.
Okay. And so the first takeaway that we have today is that grace is the best gift that you can give anyone, especially a small business owner. I think a lot of times we have a tendency we want people to extend us grace, but we don't want to extend grace to other people. You want us to understand why you were late or why you didn't do such and such. But if somebody else did the same thing to you, you want to blast them out on social media or whatever. And so let's try to extend the same grace that we want to receive. How's that?
Yeah. And so the thing that I was going to say was going to come in. So on the topic of grace, I have my lawn care professional is a small business owner, up and coming, and does great work. And there was a particular incident where something happened when they were cutting my grass, and it ended up it shattered my patio door. And so it took a while. I was out of town when this happened, and my lawn care professional actually wasn't doing the work. He was in the hospital. So we were both kind of detached from these businesses. This is around the time that I was still being a landlord. So it's like my house is kind of a business at this point too. And so I knew he was in the hospital and he was trying to get better. And I know how hard it is managing people in general, but it's definitely even more hard to manage people while you're trying to recover and get better. And so it took him a while to kind of get all of the logistics together to fix the door, but I wasn't tripping about it because I was just like, you're literally in the hospital right now. Like, I can't imagine what that would feel like for me. And I ended up experiencing it a couple months later. Like, I had to go to the hospital a couple weeks ago and was out for a while because it took me a second to recover. Like, I couldn't do anything that I really wanted to do because of how I felt, and I needed to get better. And thankfully, the people around me extended me grace and wanted me to actually get better. So it's a lot of times of like the energy that we give out is the energy that we get back in those situations. And you just never know. One, you never know what people are going to be going through. Two, it's important to kind of tell people, like, if you're going through something, like, be transparent and open, like, hey, this is going on. And three, regardless of that, be a good person and just extend grace and assume the best intention of what's going on with people.
Yeah, and I like that point about telling people what's going on. I am very transparent with my clients because, like I said, they're doing business with By the Book Accounting, but they're also doing business with Bernadette Harris. And so I want them to understand that I ache sometimes. Sometimes I don't feel well. Sometimes I have to go lay back down. So yeah, that's our long story for the takeaway. But, grace, extend grace. That's the best gift that you can give to somebody. So you want to take the second one?
Yes, this also goes back to you never really know how you're impacting other people's lives, and you never know who's watching. And it goes kind of twofold. Like, for me, when I was little, just kind of watching and observing my mom and her being in business and the different conversations that she would have, just about what it was being a business owner. I don't think she told me these things for the sake of like, you need to learn this life lesson. You never explicitly said like support small businesses and give grace to small business owners and make sure that you pay invoices. But I saw the impact that it had on your life, good and bad, like when things came in and when things didn't. And that kind of made me intentional about how I move throughout life. And then the second piece is, as we were saying, with small business owners, they're people. And not to say that, you know, the owners of large corporations aren't people. And I'm not going to go into my little spiel, but it's just a different version of a humanness, I guess.
It's just more personable. You are actually dealing, a lot of times you're dealing with the owner when you're working with a small business.
Exactly. And so you never know, even if it's $100 invoice, you never know what that $100 invoice is going to do. Like, that's a light bill. That's somebody's daily salary. Like, that's something that can do a lot for people. So you just have to be super intentional about making sure that you show up as a good person. Like, that should be the title of this. Just be a good person, you know?
And that really that's a great segue into the very last takeaway. And we talk about strive to set a good example, right? And so being that good person, you want to be the person that other people are going to want to be like, or you're going to be the person that other people will be inspired by. And so, as always, we always have fun with these episodes, and we're so glad that you're here with us. So thanks for rocking with us. We're still here. Episode 22. Yes, consistently. Yes. Thank you guys. We really appreciate you for being here. And you know how we close it out. If you haven't already joined our online community, the Efficient CEO Movement on Facebook, you are welcome to join the conversation where we will give you tips and suggestions, thought-provoking questions, and lots of support. So we love to have you over there. So we will see you next week.
And don't forget to take off.
This is a Clearwood production.